Okay, the x-intercepts are, let's pull the graph back up, -4 and +9. So right here, I'm going to write those very carefully, making sure that I use the correct notation. Okay. If I know my x-intercepts, I should be able to take those and put them in factored form. What am I typically doing to get from factored form to my x-intercepts? Just moving something from what am I doing to get from my factors to my x-intercepts? Yeah, setting them equal to 0 and moving that number over. So all I need to do is undo that move. So this right here would end up being an x plus 4, and then I would have an x minus 9 in my parentheses. Okay? My leading coefficient is the number that sits out in front of that function. So that is my a value. Okay, then I'm asked right here, what is the vertex? Well, I've got this on Desmos, so I'm going to come right here, excuse me, and I'm going to write down the ordered pair, which is 2.5, -42.25. Well, yesterday we put things in vertex form, which is x minus h squared plus k. You got the a value there, x minus h squared plus k. We need only 3 things to write vertex form. We need the a value, the h, and the k. This is my h value and this is my k value. I do not need to write a 1 out in the front. Right here I've got x minus 2.5 squared, and then I'm going to have minus 42.25. Okay, and we would do the exact same thing for this function. You write down your x-intercepts, put it in factored form. Okay, identify your vertex, and then drop that information in vertex form. Okay? All right. Now, let's go through these application problems real fast, okay? Right here, it says, a patient has an illness that typically lasts 30 hours. The temperature T in degrees Fahrenheit of the patient T hours after the illness begins is given by this function. Okay, first of all, please remember Desmos only recognizes x as your variable. So type the function in exactly as you see it, except changing the t to an x. Okay, I'm going to keep this going. 0.84x and then plus 98.2. All right, so let's see. All right, here is my graph that represents this illness. Okay, all right, it says, when does the patient's temperature reach its maximum value? So, which of these coordinates am I looking for? The x. 12 hours. Okay? What was the patient's maximum temperature during the illness? 103.24. Okay? When you're asking a time question, you're looking on the x-axis. When you're looking for an actual value, you're looking for the y-coordinate. Okay? All right, the next question would be exactly the same. All right, let's go to page number 33. Yes, sir. Just come around behind me and plug it into those right there. All right, at the top of page 33, it says, the function h of t models the height in feet of a bird shot into the air as a function of time t in seconds. Use a graphing utility to answer the following. And it says round to 2 decimal places. Okay? So I'm going to type this function in. This is modeled after the Angry Bird. Okay? Right here, let's see, plus 1.8x plus 12. All right, it says, how high above the ground was the bird when it was launched? What am I looking for? Do what? I am looking for a y value because I'm looking for height, but it says, how high was it when launched? So what y value specifically? The y-intercept. Okay, so let's see, I'm going to come right here and I'm going to click on this y-intercept. Okay, it was 12 feet above the ground. You also should be able to tell that by looking at that function. Okay, that number in the back is going to be your y-intercept. All right, after how many seconds does the bird reach its highest point? So I'm looking for my vertex. Okay, so 2 decimal places, this is going to be 4.09. And then how high is that highest point? Rounded to 2 decimal places, what do I get? What? 68. Okay, then it asks, after how many seconds does the bird hit the ground? What goes up must come down. So when it hits the ground, that is 12 point what? Round it to 2 decimal places. 5.3. Okay? Good. All right, the next problem is about a rocket launch. All right, I got negative 0.15 x squared plus 1.2x plus 10. Okay? All right, the initial height. What does initial mean? It is 10. How do I know that? And what does initial height mean? Where it starts. Okay, its starting point. Which is your y-intercept. You can find that in your equation also, okay? All right, what is the time it takes to reach the highest point? So I'm going to go to the highest point. What am I going to say? Time is my x-intercept, or my x value, right? And the maximum height, that is how high it gets, that's your 12.4. Okay? And then, how long does it take to hit the ground? If I'm rounding to 2 decimal places, this is going to be 13.09. Okay? All right, that's pretty much it, y'all. Okay? I need for you to log in, and you are going to work on all of your homeworks. All of your homeworks are due Sunday night. Your quiz is Monday.